Hello, and welcome back to another edition of A Successful Transition from Monogamy to Open. I'm Dr. Rhoda, and we're going to continue talking today about insecurity. The other day, we talked about what insecurity is and various different areas of things that cause it. Things like comparing ourselves to others, this desire for certainty in our lives, believing that our thoughts are real rather than just kind of letting them go, and thinking that self-confidence is a destination, a place you get to and stay, rather than something you have to continually be working on. So then the big question comes: how do you improve it? Like, how do you continually work on making it better? And one of the big things that you need to do is you need to acknowledge the things you're telling yourself, or basically really looking at your self-talk. And self-talk are all those messages that we tell ourselves in our head, and they can be positive messages, they can be neutral messages, they can be most often the negative messages. The things that we tell ourselves that we don't even realize we're saying sometimes. They're quick, we don't even think about them. I think a few months back, we were talking about another subject, and I brought up the example of, I don't know what happened there. I brought up the example of what happens if you accidentally spill a glass of milk or something that you're drinking in the kitchen, and the glass breaks on the kitchen floor. And for so many people, it's that immediate impulse of, I'm so stupid, I'm so clumsy, I'm such an idiot, compared to what, in the same situation, if your best friend breaks a glass on the floor, it's usually something more along the lines of, oh, no big deal, it's just an accident, we can clean it up. Like, you're so much more forgiving of your friends than you are of yourself. And that's your self-talk. And that's the thing that causes you the problem with your insecurity, is that you start to feel a little bit insecure and you pile onto it. And so in those moments where you're feeling insecure, and if we bring it back to open relationships, if you're in a situation, if you're at an event or a party, or you're dealing with additional partners, and you start to feel like, notice what you're telling yourself. Are you telling yourself things like, I'm not good enough, people think I'm stupid, people don't want to talk to me, I'm not attractive enough? Notice, first of all, the things that you're telling yourself. And this is essential, because you can't change the messages, you can't modify the messages if you don't know what the messages are. So that's your first step, is you've got to listen, you got to slow it down and listen to the things you're saying to yourself. And then you can learn to change the messages. Now, this isn't like affirmations. And for any of you who are old enough to remember the skit that they used to have on Saturday Night Live with Stuart Smalley, the I'm good enough and people like me. Like, no, this is not affirmations. You're not telling yourself the exact opposite of your negative self-talk. Because if you do that, your brain just goes, yeah, whatever. It doesn't listen. And so you've got to give it something that your brain can not just so easily discount. Because if you go from I'm stupid, I'm an idiot, to I'm great, your brain will blow it off. So you need that sort of middle ground thing that your brain can look at and go, okay, that's hard to argue with. And it's important that you not use words like not or no. So if you are telling yourself, I'm not good enough, well, let me give a better example. So if you're saying, I'm stupid, I'm too fat, you don't want to say, I'm not fat. You want to say, I'm still attractive. People like me just the way I am. And your brain can then go, Well, okay, some people don't like you. And you're like, yeah, but there are people who like me just as I am. And I'm fine and I'm good enough and I'm okay. It's not the extreme, it's something more in the middle. And start giving yourself new messages. Start giving yourself messages of, yeah, it's okay. I can figure this out. I can handle it. Okay, maybe everyone um, doesn't want to talk to me. Okay, but there are people here who want to talk to me, and I can make this happen. It's just subtly shifting the way you're giving yourself these messages, which is a lot of work at first. And I will absolutely tell you, yes, this is a lot of work at first, but it does start to make a difference after a while. It does start to make a difference when you start to say, it's okay. I can be afraid. I can feel insecure, and I can do this anyway. And that's the other part, is that your brain is going to react more to action than the inaction of staying stuck in, nobody wants to talk to me. What am I going to do? I'm just going to sit here. And no, you need to act. You need to, it's the old saying, feel the fear and do it anyway. Because your brain will notice if you start walking around at the party, you start smiling, you start talking to people anyway, your brain's going to notice, and it's going to, you start to forget about the little things you're telling yourself. You have to keep doing it. You have to keep pushing yourself to go ahead and do it anyway. And the action of, forcing yourself to do it then makes it easier. So that's really what you need to think about, and that's what you need to focus on when you're feeling this insecurity, is not give in to the insecurity. You have to really fight against it. You've got to give yourself different messages. You need to first, of course, notice what the messages are. Give yourself new messages to tell yourself over and over, and then you got to do it anyway. And it's hard, and yet the more you do it, the easier it gets. So that's all for today, and I will see you next week. Have a wonderful weekend, and go enjoy yourself. Bye.